I don't know if I've ever seen a football game single-handedly get a head coach and a general manager both fired like that before in my football watching life. That was truly something impressive. 63-21, and it wasn't even that close. That's gotta be one of the saddest ways I've ever seen anyone go out, ever. Brandon Staley's been heavily criticized ever since he started with the Chargers 3 years ago. Brought in as a defensive genius from under the wing of Sean McVay, afforded great defensive talents all across the roster, and yet somehow all 3 years they've ended up bottom half of the league in defense. And it's not like they were headed in the right direction either, with them ranked 4th worst this season. And it all culminated, now without Herbert there to save him like he usually does, in one of the biggest blowouts ever. A scoreline the league had never seen before that ultimately ended his tenure in LA. Actually, let's do a quick little game recap of this horror show, shall we? Charger fans, cover your eyes. All 12 of you, it's going to get pretty ugly. Without Herbie, they naturally start with a run to their no longer star running back Austin Eckler, which goes for 6 yards, the most explosive play he would have all game. They proceeded to go 3 and out and punt it, giving the Raiders 15 free yards before they even touched the ball on a punt return penalty. On the first defensive drive, they could not stop a Vegas team that hadn't scored in 2 weeks, 7-0. Backup Easton Stick was looking good with 2 first downs on the next drive before he fumbled 2 plays later. 4 plays after that, the secondary gets burned by a receiver who had 0 career touchdowns before this, 14-0. All right, no worries. Let's move on to the next drive. Another fumble immediately on the first play. And 3 plays after that, 21-0. The teams go punt for punt, back to back, and surely nothing untoward happens here, except it's the Chargers, so of course it does. Another fumble, more great field position for the Raiders, and another touchdown, 28-0. Chargers punt again, and why not add insult to injury, Vegas? Let's run in a Wildcat touchdown, 35-0. Now desperate for something before the half, 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, they run the ball, but Eckler, looking like Cardinals Emmitt Smith, can't get a yard either time. And what the hell, let's get Trey Tucker his 2nd career touchdown before the half, 42-0. Raiders somehow start the next half with the ball and march down the field for their 7th touchdown, this time on a wide receiver pass, 49-0. And by this point, I'm pretty sure is when Spanos started writing those termination letters. But the Chargers finally have hope on the next play, as nobody's going to catch Josh Palmer on a 79-yard house call touchdown. Now with the comeback on, Eason drops back, he rolls to the right, and with no pocket awareness whatsoever, puts the ball on the ground. Raiders get a big man touchdown, 56-7. And just for style points, Jack Jones with the defensive highlight of the year, 63-7. And what makes it worse is that it wasn't like it was against some great dominant team or even a good one. It was against the Raiders. A division rival Raiders team that was riding a 3-game losing streak that 4 days earlier had just lost one of the worst games ever aired on live television to the Vikings, 3-0. Neither team had scored a point until 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter as Vegas walked out of there with a goose egg still on the board. And that's the team your defense, the defense of this supposed defensive genius, allowed 49 points to, and that's taking the 2 defensive touchdowns off the board. Embarrassing is an understatement. They had to be fired. And as much as I would love to pretend that this one game was the reason why Staley and GM Tom Telesco got fired, this has obviously been a long time coming. You can't come in hailed as this revolutionary defensive mind and have the defense be the main reason why this team underperforms year in and year out. All the while being overconfident and defensive of your competency as a play caller when it's questioned in post-game pressers.
I have full confidence in our way of playing. Full confidence in myself as the play caller. So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again.
The true tragedy is that Brandon Staley has deluded himself into thinking that he is that defensive wonder kid and has somehow managed to trick some others across the league into still thinking that he is, when in reality he is a one-year wonder defensive coordinator that got figured out after a single year of tape. And he could never adapt, still running that same Swiss cheese zone defense that had been getting carved up since halfway through year one. Didn't matter that he had a great safety. Didn't matter that he had 2 elite edge rushers. Didn't matter that they had drafted a talented corner and paid another. The problem was at the team's roots. Eventually, the Chargers had to come to terms with that and cut ties with Staley, because he was never going to be the answer at head coach. And I thought that was obvious a while ago. Honestly, I thought blowing that 27-0 lead in last year's playoffs to the Jags was the final nail in the coffin. But they gave him another shot. A second chance that Staley wasted. The bottom line is, if you can't adapt in 3 years, you aren't some misunderstood defensive genius. You were a flash in the pan. I really don't understand why Staley got awarded this defensive savant label in the first place after one good year of coaching a Rams defense with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, or why it stuck for so long. He has one great season and all of a sudden the Chargers think it's a good idea to name him the head coach of the future? To take a guy that was in Division III 5 years earlier and hand him the keys to one of the best young quarterbacks in the league? And when you really break it down like that, it all makes sense. It's a classic Chargering, a move that only the Chargers could manage to pull off. To be put in an amazing position and somehow manage to screw it all up. And the fix isn't easy either. They're strapped to some pretty big contracts for some guys that are productive and some guys that aren't so much. I feel bad, in a way. They've got talented people that work over there, talented players on the roster, and it's been going to waste. They should have never left San Diego, but in a way, they do kind of fit in Los Angeles. They fit in Los Angeles in the same way that the Clippers fit in Los Angeles. As the second team, the afterthought, the punching bag and butt of the joke. The team that no matter how hard they try, can't ever seem to break through to be great, to be respected. At least, not for long. Hopefully, whoever they hire as their next head coach can change that, because, I feel bad for their fans. I do, all 12 of you. And I also feel bad for Justin Herbert. I don't want his fate to be the same as Phillip Rivers. I really don't. So even as a Rams fan, I really don't want to see the other football team have success. Man, I don't know. I don't know what's next for them. I don't know what the plan is, but you got to do something different. Hire an offensive coach, please. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it so you can be around for my next video. Hit the like button. It would really help me out in the algorithm. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation, anything I said, and just the video in general down in the comment section, because it really helps me out and I like talking to you guys, even though my last comment section was pretty brutal on me. But, it is what it is. You're expressing your thoughts, and I appreciate it. Anyways, I'll see you later. Till next time. Bye.